I think there's going to be some issues with this Apple Vision Pro, and one of it is the fact that it is expensive. We all were expecting the price tag to be about $3,000, and for the amount of tech, I definitely think it's worth it, but at the same time, not a lot of people are going to buy this, and I'll tell you why. I wasn't going to make a video about this, but I made some comments and people started reacting to my comments and agreeing with it. So not a lot of people have addressed this, but the main thing that Apple has been pushing this device, it's not really for business. It's not really productivity, even though they definitely address that and say it can be used for it. They were really pushing the immersive entertainment experience. That whole thing with Disney Plus, it looks beautiful. And yeah, I would love to watch shows like that, but for $3,000, they were saying, oh yeah, a massive TV is expensive, your stereo system's expensive, the computer to run that stereo is very expensive. But here's the thing. If I sit down on my couch, I can have 5 or 6 or even 10 people sit down and enjoy a movie together. Like people like me, we like to watch movies together. We like to have my family or my friends watch movies together, and we like to enjoy the experiences. I really feel like the Vision Pro is going to be very isolating. Because you're not able to watch movies with other people. And here's the thing, if I wanted to watch a movie with my girlfriend in this really cool immersive experience, she would need to buy a headset, or I'd have to buy one for her. And that would be like $7,000 for both of us to have a headset like that. And that's not including like the taxes and fees and everything else, but $7,000 to be able to watch a movie with one other person. That's not really worth it. What I compare it to is like that cool tech, even like early VR, the Oculus, like people would bring it to their friend's house, or your friends would come over, you'd be like, hey, check out this really cool tech. Just like this thing that I bought. I bought this AR glasses, the Nebula. They're great, but not as great as the Apple Vision Pro. But everyone thinks it's cool. They're like, oh, I should definitely buy one. But when the barrier to entry is only $200 for these ones that work pretty well, it's hard to want to spend $3,000 to get something. Even if you use it all the time, it's a lot of money. And your friends aren't just going to be able to buy it. Even if you can personally afford it, even though $3,000 might seem like, oh yeah, it's nothing for me. Think about your friends, think about your family. Can they all shell that out just for mostly entertainment? And Apple is kind of pushing the entertainment. That's why I'm so adamant about that. You can definitely still use it for business. You can definitely still use it for productivity. It's just a matter of businesses implementing this in their manufacturing lines. Some companies have done this with the HoloLens for Microsoft, and it works out pretty well. You're able to see 3D diagrams, and you're able to do modifications. But the thing with that is it's running on Microsoft, and a lot of those applications have been implemented and designed for the HoloLens. With the Apple Developer Kit, we all know Apple's not the most friendly with developers. So companies, if they want to have a specialized process, they will have to spend a lot of money, not just for the Vision Lens themselves. They're going to have to spend a lot of money on development to actually implement it into their productivity and pipeline. So it seems expensive. There's also the liability of having to wear a big headset on your face. You don't know if you're going to run into someone. You honestly don't know depth until you have it first person. You don't know what it feels like. So there could be issues with that and just people not being used to it. It's definitely a specialty tool. What I would recommend is wait until maybe the second generation or the third generation. The second generation usually redefines it and fixes all the issues, and then the third generation does that again, but even better, and hopefully at a lower price point. It's called the Vision Pro, so maybe they'll have a Vision Lite, which would be cheaper, less features, maybe have to use controllers instead of your fingers. I don't know. It would be really cool to have one. My brother said he's getting one. I don't think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon right now. Maybe once it's out, maybe once I test it, I might want to buy one. But for now, just it doesn't make sense to buy it right now. But I'm a fan of AR. I'm a fan of VR. These things work great for multiple displays on your Mac. I'll have a link for these ones down below. They're only a couple $100 and they work great. You can have 3 monitors. And with Apple's immersive experience, it's beautiful. And I know my mind would be blown once I try it on, but is it worth that every time? And is it worth having a solo experience? Maybe a couple of years ago when everyone was on lockdown and you were alone and you could watch movies, that's probably when I would have loved to use it. But in everyday life, feeling that isolated, I feel like that would be a little weird. Just to have one of those cool FaceTime video calls, which they were advertising, like you and your friend are going to have to spend $3,500. And that's, not all your friends can afford that. I'm thinking about it like a 3D printer or like a Oculus. Like, everyone that doesn't have one, but you might have 1 or 2 friends that does. And then you might be able to do stuff together. But it's just like that cool tech that you want to show everyone, but is it really usable and worth it? And then also the fact that it has such a powerful processor, like the M2 in there, like it really replaces like your MacBooks. Like why would you want that when you can process everything on there? And also there's that design and control dynamic is hard to get used to. I'm sure Apple is going to do a great job at implementing it, but I just know like a keyboard and mouse is really easy to video edit with. It would just be hard to learn how to use your fingers to touch and drag and cut and slice. I'm sure there'll be shortcuts, but it just seems like a little bit different and maybe you won't feel as connected. But on the flip, you can maybe feel even more connected. It's just a big learning curve. I don't know. Comment what you guys think down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.